So, I'm extremely happy because it is almost Halloween, and Halloween is our anniversary. Yay, 1 whole year. I have my pumpkins. I know this one is from Steven Universe, but I don't really care because I like the show. And I also have this one, and this is only going to be the beginning of my pumpkin collection. I think one of my favorite pumpkin stories to tell is about the time that I bought 10 pumpkins. And my now wife and I were going to Home Depot to get paint for our new room. And we walked in and there were like 45 pumpkins, which was totally awesome. And I went, babies! And she went, no more pumpkins. Because at this point I'd already bought like 6 or 7 of them. And I was like, nah, they're too expensive anyway here, because I can always get them like cheaper at the grocery store or whatever. And so we go and we get our paint color and we get up to the register and the cashier says, would you like to sign up for a credit card? You get 25% off your total order today if you're accepted. And I said, okay, sure. And I didn't think I was going to be accepted, but I figure, you know, whatever, I'll try. So while I'm filling out all of the information, she looks up and she goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, if you sign up for a credit card, you get a free pumpkin. And let me tell you, the look that I got from my wife was the best thing I think I've ever seen in my life. So I, of course, ran over and got a free pumpkin. Oh, so I've had a lot of really, really weird experiences over the years, and at some point I will probably try to turn them into storytime videos. But I think the weirdest thing that's happened in the last like 2 months has to be a couple of weeks ago. I was so tired. I could not sleep. And I work overnights as a stalker, so that's kind of normal for me. I usually get 4 or 5 hours, maybe sometimes 3, depending, because I'm driving a lot and gotta go, you know, I have stuff to do during the day still, but anyway, so I couldn't sleep. And it was a really, really long, rough night because I had been up for almost 24 hours by the point that I had gotten off work. And I had to stop at the bank on the way home, and as I'm standing there filling out the bank paperwork to make a withdrawal, I hear this old man standing at the teller. And she's like, okay, thank you, sir, have a nice day. And he says, yeah, my name is, I'm not gonna add it here just because, but like, he's like, yeah, AKA, also known as Pirate Dude or something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's how I used to get the ladies when I was at the bar. I have like a 17-foot yacht. Like, hey ladies, you want to come on my boat? And I'm just like, I'm sitting here in the corner just kind of cringing like, oh my god, no. And the cashier is just kind of standing there like, and she's trying so hard to be nice. And then he looks at her and he goes, you're single, right? And she goes, married. And he's like, oh, married. Oh, well, so I'm good to go? And he's just like, yep, have a nice day. I'm just like, that is okay, like, okay. So, I get up to the teller myself, and I am wearing a specific ring. I'll have to see if I can find a picture of it, because I don't have it on me right this second. But It's one of those weird, like, armor finger rings where it's got, like, it has, like, joints, and it's supernatural inspired, so it's got the anti-possession symbol and, like, this sharp kind of looking point at the end of it. And, I guess hindsight, I probably shouldn't have been wearing it. I probably should have taken it off, but I wasn't really thinking about it, because, yeah. Anyway, so I get in the bank, and I'm up there, and he's all smiles when I walk up. And then he, like, I think he saw my ring, and he started kind of, like, getting nervous or something. So he looks at me and he goes, "Can I see your ID?" And now that's not really that unusual, because nobody that I knew was there. These were all new people. And I've had people ask me for my ID before to, withdraw money. It's whatever. But he said, "Okay, sure," and I handed my ID, and he takes it over to his computer, and I'm standing there, and it took me a few minutes to realize that there was something wrong. He's over there with my ID, and he's doing, like, hold on, let me see if I can find something to show you. Okay, so he's doing, like, this. And I'm like, dude, I don't look that different from my ID. Like, what? So he examined my ID for a good 5 or 10 minutes. It had to be at least 5 minutes, because I had time to sit there and text my wife, like, I don't even know what today is. Like, I don't know what this day is, but he's literally scouring my ID like it's fake or something. Which actually reminds me of another time. I had just turned 18, and I had a not a learner's permit, because I didn't actually get my learner's permit or anything. I didn't drive until I was in my early 20s. But so I had a Florida State ID. And we went and we bought tickets for this horror movie, and I can't even remember what it was. But we went and bought tickets for it, and they didn't question whether or not I was old enough to buy the ticket. But so we get to the counter to give the ticket taker our tickets, and he looks at me and he kind of squints at me. It's an older guy, and he says, "You're not 18. Show me your ID." And I was like, okay. Because at this point I was a really shy person, and that kind of stuff, like, really bothered me back then. So I'm like, okay. So I give him my ID, and he looks at it and he goes, "That's not real. This isn't real." And he's picking at the corner of the plastic, and I'm like, dude, I just got that. Can you not? Like, are you gonna pay for another one? That's what I'm thinking in my head, but of course I didn't say anything, and I'm like, I just turned 18. I was born in 1983, and he's like, so, like, he just hands it, he, like, kind of shoves it back at me, and I'm just like, okay, thanks. But anyway, so after a little while, I did try to go back to sleep, and oh, wait, that's right. I completely forgot. Okay, so after the 10 minutes of him staring at my ID, trying to figure out if I was the person on the ID or not, I turn around to leave the bank, and it is torrentially pouring. And I have a really big car, so I don't like to park it in, like, tight spots. So I happen to be parked across the parking lot. Oh, if you know where this is going. And I was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, what even is today? This is just unreal. So of course I had to bolt across the parking lot. Now there was no lightning, there was no thunder, everything was cool. I'm like, alright, whatever, I'm just gonna get a little bit wet. But I am actually terrified of lightning, especially if I'm out in it. If I am outside, I will bolt in anywhere that I can find that is inside as quickly as possible. So I open up the door, I get out, I unlock my car, and I start running, and then all of a sudden there's a bright flash and like the loudest crack of thunder, so it had to have hit really close. And then I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm running to my car and I'm gonna slip and I'm gonna fall, and then lightning is gonna hit me and I'm gonna die. So I did make it back to my car. But then later on, I went home and I was able to sleep for a little bit, but I was hungry and my wife needed to go to work and we wanted to go have lunch before she went to work. So we go up to Steak and Shake. Now, I don't have any idea what is up with the Steak and Shake. I don't know if it's all Steak and Shakes or what, but it seems like none of the wait staff really work well together. They all have like their tiny little cliques, and they all they really badmouth each other, and it's kind of funny, but at the same time it's kind of irritating sometimes, because they will stand in the back and like bitch at each other about other coworkers. So we sit down and we order and everything is great, and like 15 minutes goes by and nothing. No waitress, no nothing. They're all huddled in the like the corner where you get like the straws and stuff. And they're all talking. Somebody said something about somebody didn't show up to work or like something like that. And then this guy comes in the door and one of the waitresses finally looks up and she goes, "Oh, did you want to be seated?" And he was like standing there for like 3 minutes, and he's like, "Oh, did you want to be seated?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And she says, "Well, hold on a second. I just got off the clock. I'm not here, but so-and-so would be happy to take you." Like, sarcastic. I'm just like, what the hell? So then he gets seated, and that was about the end of that. But, like, yeah, that kind of stuff happens at that particular one all the time. And we know now not to go and, to go in or sit down when we're waiting, like if we're in a hurry, because it just doesn't happen. But I thought that was really weird. But that also reminded me of another time. I'm so sorry, this video is probably going to be like 20 minutes long. Congratulations if you make it to the end of it. But that reminds me of another night. We went for shakes at like maybe midnight, 1 in the morning, and we're sitting there enjoying our shakes, and this guy walks in, and the waitress comes up and she's like, you know, where would you like to sit? And he says, "Do you have that girl's phone number that was in front of me? I missed asking her for her phone number, so can you give it to me?" And he's like, the guy is like, "I don't have her number, and even if I did, it wouldn't be legal for me to give it to you." I'm just like, what the hell? That was super creepy. That was super, super creepy. Oh, but then so we got our food and we went to go check out after we ate, and the poor woman is cooking, and like you can tell she's really frustrated, and it's obviously been a really long day for her. So we're just kind of waiting at the counter, and there's this old guy, and he looks up at her and he's like, hey, and she's like flipping burgers, you know, flipping the burgers, and she's just kind of ignoring him because he's being super rude. And she finally turns around and he's like, can I get an order? He's got a menu. I know what I want now. And she said, oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm the cook right now, and I can't. So I guess as soon as I finish these burgers, and I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, God, how rude can you be? Dude, like, you can see that she's in the middle of cooking something. Ugh. But so then that happened. And, went back home after taking her to work. Finally got some sleep. And I woke up at like 10:15. And that leaves me about 15 minutes to throw my clothes on, get my lunch together, get everything. I'm usually out the door by 10:40. And I'm always on time. So I get up and I'm, you know, going about everything, and I cannot for the life of me find my glasses. And I still can't find the particular glasses that I was wearing. I actually have 2 pair of them now because it got so bad that I had lost my glasses for over a month at one point and went and just caved and got a new pair. So I should really invest in like 10 or 15 pairs of glasses just because I keep losing them. So I get to work and everything is going okay. Everything's going fine. And then I get to a thing on the floor, and it is a box of cans of condensed milk. Now normally these are wrapped in plastic, and you just cut the plastic and you take the plastic off and you put it on the shelf, and then you cut the little piece of cardboard off the front so people can get to it easier. Not this time. No. I don't know what happened to the plastic, but instead of plastic there was 3 layers of tape all the way around the box. Not just on the top of the box to cover the cans so they don't, nope, it was, somebody went like this over the whole entire box, and then went back this way, and then went back this way again. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to get into this? Because it was like, it was attached to the box, it was attached to the top of the cans, and it was attached to the side of the cans. And I could probably make a whole other video on weird stuff that I've seen working. Like the one night that I kind of panicked and thought that a produce box had accidentally gotten thrown in with like my palette, because there happened to be a box that said fresh bananas, and I was like, why is there fresh bananas with, because I don't do like the fresh section, and that should be a whole other palette. Like that was just the weirdest thing. So I finally get to it, and it's actually marshmallows. It is a box full of bags of marshmallows. I'm not even sure. Like, I don't know how these things work, but that was probably the funniest thing that I've seen. And that was like the first time I started. That was like probably 3 or 4 months ago. I was pretty new at the time. And then weird stuff since then has happened with like boxes, weird boxes. There was another one a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember what it was now, but I laughed like so hard because it was like a fresh produce. I don't think it was bananas this time, and there was something else that was really weird inside of it, and I'm just like, what happens? What do these people do? Anyway, so I think that will probably be the end of this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. I know I ramble a lot, but I do try to come up with, like, I try to remember really weird stuff that happened, and so yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and visit my links in the description. Bye!